Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel, welcome to Monday, welcome to Countdown Day, and of course, we are getting into the festive time of the year, which means we're getting toward the year-end list. This, today, will be the top 10 best Transformers releases of 2023 as voted on by you guys, the fans, in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe, and while you are at it, light 'em up, baby. Hit that notification bell. It helps me out a ton, and it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that is in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. Please note that next week, because Christmas Day falls on Monday, we will not have the results of the countdown on Monday. Instead, they will come on Wednesday, the 27th, next week. And that list is going to be the top 10 worst, or the bottom 10 Transformers of 2023. I think it's hard to say worst, because honestly, 2023, man, it's going to be hard to come up with a bottom 10 because this was a strong, strong year. In terms of voting for the best, the voting was fast and furious. Shockingly, there's one that so many people said, oh, he's for sure going to be one of the best of the year. He's for sure going to be one of the best of the year. Didn't even get a vote from the fans. We'll talk about that when we get to the end. For now, let's do our two honorable mentions. These guys got votes, but they didn't quite make enough to rank on the list. And they include Legacy Evolution Bludgeon. I mean, if you like the IDW design for Bludgeon, you're going to like this. If you like the Tarn mold, you're going to like this. But granted, it's not the Bludgeon for everyone. And granted, the face isn't so much skeletal as it is like hideously metallic, a metallic skeleton, I suppose, but it's a great mold and a great look if you know that IDW Bludgeon. The other one is one that actually, for me, appeared on, I believe, the list last year, because it's one of these characters that could kind of count across 2 years because it came out in Legacy, but then it had a later release in Legacy Evolution. Actually, I think they kind of came out at the same time. You know what? Maybe he did come out this year. I would have to go back and double check when I got Transmetal 2 Megatron. So good. I think, though, I got him early enough that I was able to count him for 2022. If not, he's probably going to appear on my own personal best list for 2023. We'll see when the time comes. But he got enough votes that he was an honorable mention. Tremendous mold. I wasn't even going to get it, and I can't believe that I almost didn't get it because it's so good. Yeah, so honorable mentions: Legacy Evolution Bludgeon, Legacy Evolution Transmetal 2 Megatron. They did not make the list. Who did? You know what we're going to do. Now, the most festive time of the year, we're going to kick things off with number 10 first. Coming in at number 10 is probably not going to be a surprise to anyone because it's Metal Hawk. And I say not a surprise to anyone because last year, if not the year before, but I think last year for sure, the Kingdom, maybe the year before, the Kingdom Cyclonus topped a lot of lists for best for people because the engineering was stupendous. Enter this guy whose engineering is only slightly modified, very minimally, and it still ends up being a very smooth, sleek, beautiful plane, and a very smooth, sleek robot mode that honestly has little to no kibble on it. I mean, yeah, it's so clean, so versatile, looks so good, and has such a wild range of motion. Metal Hawk does everything right. My big concern was him yellowing, but you know what? I've had him on the shelf now for the entire year, and he is doing just fine and is as pristine as ever. Excellent articulation, excellent engineering, excellent look, and it looks like he absolutely jumped off the page or out of the cartoon for Headmasters. What more could I want? What more could fans want? Metal Hawk takes the number 10 slot. Number 9 is a lot of people's favorite, especially our buddy Raziel Kane. Shout out to Raz. Because it's Studio Series 86, Brun. Brun, yes, Brun. I love the Legends one. I wasn't sure what I was going to think of this one. A lot of people think it's just fantastic. I wish he had a wrist. I think that's a bummer. There's some paint detailing missing here that I haven't added yet, though I intend to. I do, however, really sort of dig the way the head and neck transforms. That's very, very different, very interesting. There is a ton of paint on this guy. I admit, it's very good. The only gripe that I got against the guy is after you do the transformation to like his Jeep mode, I don't like the side where like the doors should be. I look at that and I'm like, that's obviously robot kibble on the side of this otherwise pretty darn clean Jeep. He looks great, tons of paint, wild, excellent, fun articulation. I do kind of wish the hinge at the knee and maybe the one here on the side. You know, I'd be cool if they were green instead of the school bus orange color, but I really don't hate it. I think he's probably in the right spot on this list because I think he should probably appear in the top 10. I don't necessarily think he would be my number 1, but I do think he's very, very good. And so do enough fans that Brun was able to take the number 9 slot. Coming in at number 8, we have a Transformer that had high praise this year, even though a bit of a weird release. One that I've never handled, I've seen it, I don't have it, but I've only ever heard good things about this. That's right, it is the Studio Series Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime that for some peculiar reason was done as a buzzworthy Bumblebee exclusive. Why, I don't know. And I have heard only great things about this. I've heard that the transformation is inspired and brilliant. And you know what? Maybe it is. I've heard that the range of motion is not only second to none, but some of the best articulation that Transformers, certainly Studio Series, has ever done. And, of course, when it comes to the look, it looks like it jumped off the screen from Rise of the Beasts. These are the reasons that people gave for voting for this guy. And you know what? They cover articulation, transformation, and look. Who am I to argue when people give those as the reasons? Well, I can't speak firsthand. I can say that enough fans feel that this guy is excellent, that this version of Optimus Prime was able to take the number 8 slot. Continuing on now with number 7, we go deep into Transformers lore with Nova Prime. I am so glad that Nova Prime made this list. Here's the thing. I find the mold, the Ultra Magnus, I guess this is the Earthrise one. Actually, I guess it's the Cybertronian upgrade Optimus Prime mold. I should use the right names, right? So the Siege Cybertronian upgrade Optimus Prime, I thought was fine. A lot of people said, that's not as good as the original Cybertron Optimus. Maybe it's not, but you know what? We're in a different age and era, and I think the mold is okay. About the only gripe I have is the angled feet down here. But for Nova Prime, with what they remolded and what they pulled off for a mainline release, I think he's tremendous. If you already have the MMC, I don't think you need to upgrade. If you have one of the previous ones that came out in, I don't know, like BotCon or the Collector Club or whatever, and you're happy with that, then you probably don't need this. But for somebody like myself, whose only Nova Prime was a custom painted Battle Core Optimus from way back in Combiner Wars, which worked fine, I gotta say, there's something nice and rewarding about having an actual iteration of that character. I really am somebody as a collector who likes to have all the versions of all the primes that I can have from the Dynasty of the 13 right up to Big Convoy and everyone and everything in between. So having an official version of this guy, yeah, I think it's fantastic. And so did enough fans that Nova Prime here was able to take the number 7 slot. Now at number 6, we have one that I really never ever expected that we were ever going to get a mainline version of. It's one of those like more fringe characters that for some reason has a cult following. And yes, we have gotten a version of this character, I want to say as part of the Collector Club many moons ago, using the deluxe Scourge Sweep Generations mold, the one that turns into like the stealth jet thing. Who am I talking about? If you don't know by now, it's Legacy Evolution Devcon. This takes the Studio Series Blur mold, and anything that was wrong with that, this improves it. It has great mass, it has a ton of paint, both red and silver. It has a very smooth transformation. It looks very much like his Space Cruiser mode. In this robot mode, the range of motion is I mean, second to none. The dude can do everything. All of the tolerances feel tremendous. He's very clean. Even his backpack comes off as very clean. Devcon is an absolute gem, right? He's a diamond in the rough. Nobody expected a Devcon, and when he was announced and we found out that it was going to be the Blur mold, I think some people were like, oh, maybe he'll be okay. And then people got him in hand, and everyone apparently, much like myself, got blown away and said, man, he is the bee's knees. And for that reason, Devcon takes the number 6 slot. And now a hush falls over the crowd because we've reached the ever-coveted, ever-popular halfway mark. And at the halfway mark, we go to Studio Series 86 and the Dinobots and Snarl. I think that Snarl got the votes that he got because he's another member of the Dinobots. You know, I bet in 2024, I bet Swoop will appear on a lot of lists because it rounds out that team. When it comes to Snarl, mine has a couple of upgrade kits on him that I've already reviewed here on the channel. But when it comes to Snarl, I think that they generally captured the look really well. I love his head sculpt, and I love his like tail wings out the back. I think the transformation is inspired, interesting, while also being the sort of thing like it's obtainable. Like you don't need to. Nothing feels fragile to me. The worst part of the transformation is probably these feet here and trying to get them out because they do like to pop off. But I just leave them out now, just ever, you know, so slightly, just a little bit so that it's easier to pull out. The only gripe that I really have with Snarl is that in Dino mode, his butt end might be a little bit too stubby. And I do find it a little bit disappointing that now we're starting to see just gold plastic use instead of this shade of gold paint. It does make him stand out a little bit from the rest of his team. I'm glad that Swoop is going to be ending kind of this run because I've seen little cuts here and there ever since the release of Grimlock, right? First they eliminated the little accessory lad that would come with them, right? No more Daniel, no more Wheelie. Not that they were great, but they did eliminate that. Now they're starting to eliminate some of the paint. I'm just saying, you know, like, I think it's time to get this group done. However, in terms of Snarl himself, man, I think he is a tremendous iteration of this Dinobot, and I'm very glad to have him. And enough fans feel the same way that Snarl was able to take the number 5 slot. And now we're at number 4, and number 4 I thought was going to definitely make the list. I said way back in January, February, whenever I reviewed this character, I said, man, this character is setting the bar right now that everything else has to live up to. It is setting the bar right now for what an excellent Transformer should be and needs to be. It is setting the bar for best of the year. And I'm talking about Turn. I cannot imagine anybody hating this. And if you do, I can't imagine you liking anything because there's nothing here to hate. Some people said, he's not big and bulky enough. I would venture to say he is. Unless you're a hardcore IDW fan, a Voyager for this guy so that he is in line with Optimus and Megatron and G-Axis and like other kind of faction leaders. I think a Voyager makes sense. The only real version I know of the guy comes from Cyberverse, and I really feel like that this probably embodies that well. Needless to say, some of the leg area is obviously bludgeon, and we knew that this was going to be reused for bludgeon. But we have the tank treads up on the shoulders. We have no hollowness that I can really discern anywhere. The only gripe that I can levy, the only gripe, because I think the transformation is smooth and excellent. I think the articulation is amazing. I think the amount of paint is bonkers for what this is. The only gripes I can levy is when you take the arm out straight, it can't go out to the side. Now, this can still go across his body, but can't go out to the side. You want to go out to the side, it got to come down. And then you'd have to go like this, right? You know, like it would have to be that way. You got to put it out to the side first. You can't put it up. Can I do that? No, if you want it out to the side, that's what you got to do. So there's that one weird shoulder gripe, and arguably some people might say, well, there's no wheels, it just moves along, it has the faux wheels. And I get not liking the faux wheels, but I don't think that they're supposed to serve as wheels. I think the whole point of having them on the bottom is so that his whole lower section, his whole bottom part, isn't resting on a table or the floor or whatever. I think they're meant to give him like a millimeter or so of clearance so that he's not on the floor. Would it have been nice if they were wheels? Yeah, sure. Does it bother me that they're not? Not in the least, because what Tarn does right, he does tremendously right. Everything he does well, he does tremendously well. And enough fans feel the same way that Tarn takes the number 4 slot. Now we are into the top 3, and at number 3, I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little bit bitter that I'm having to use a picture for this one because it's this guy. That's right, it is HasLab Deathsaurus. And I say a bit bitter because I know in, I wanna say Taiwan? Think. He came out some time ago. I know a lot of people across the US have gotten theirs in hand. I know that the UK has had a huge, and I would say unfortunate, I would even say unacceptable delay. And as of this recording right now, yours truly has not so much as gotten an email saying that it's left the warehouse. I think the rollout of Deathsaurus is a disaster. I sincerely hope that the resulting robot is worth it. Now, that said, I have actively been avoiding all information about this guy because in the past, when I have seen other people either complain or gush, it has colored my opinions so that when I do a true review, unfortunately, in that case, it's not true because now I'm going in with a preconceived notion. I can't really say anything more about it than that because he's not a part of my world yet. As a matter of fact, at this point, I don't see any way that he's going to be a part of my 2023. I feel like for me, Deathsaurus is going to have to, if he ranks at all, appear on 2024. We'll see by the time I do my own personal list. But man, time is getting tight. I will say this, if there's anyone who puts in a comment saying he's fantastic or excellent, or talking about something that they don't like with him, you know what, I'm just going to delete it. I'm not even going to leave it there because I want to know nothing. I can't. Not if I'm going to be objective, not if I'm going to give you guys an absolute true opinion. That said, I think that this guy, like, he's looked impressive for sure. Certainly in robot mode. I think the alt mode could have been a little bit better. However, I can say that enough fans have this guy already in hand, and they didn't seem to have a doubt for a second when they voted. Hands down, they said, Deathsaurus, and that's why he takes the number 3 slot. And now here we are at number 2, and at number 2 we have a character that I not only don't own, but I have not reviewed, even though I've heard nothing but good things about it, and it's this guy. That's right, it is Armada Optimus Prime, Commander Class Armada Optimus Prime. Here's the thing, I'm not a Unicron Trilogy guy, I have no interest in this, I have no interest in Unicron Trilogy stuff at all. However, that being said, when this was announced and first came out and we saw the level of articulation and the engineering and everything else, I said it makes the original, which I think is abhorrent garbage. I think it's, if it's not the worst Transformer I've ever looked at, it's definitely top 3 along with Reveal the Shield Perceptor, which is just awful, and Universe Galvatron. Like, I think that the Armada Optimus Prime, the original Armada Optimus Prime, is that bad. When it's in its, like, smaller truck mode, it was okay. But combined, it's just one big ugly brick. And I know it has the auto transformation gimmick, but I think that that's lame. Half the time it doesn't work. Sometimes it sets the thing on fire. When this came out, I said this is the upgrade that Unicron Trilogy fans absolutely deserve. It's fully articulated, it's integrated, it captures the spirit of the character, it looks tremendous, the transformation seems very logical, he can pull off the base mode, he can pull off the super mode, he can pull it all off. And then, I've even since learned that it is in fact a true blue Commander class. You see, he's tall, he's big, he's bulky. The smaller Optimus by himself, the one that everyone's saying is a Voyager, is actually Voyager plus a lot because that clocks in at 220 grams all by itself. I don't think it has a waist, but that's because of transformation, and you know what? That's unfortunate, but I feel like everything else this guy does, he does well. In the full combined mode with everything included, the dude clocks in at 660 grams. He is a Commander class point, and I've often said the benchmark for that was set by Siege Jetfire, which was double the mass of a traditional leader class. Double the price, double the mass. That's the way it worked here in Canada. And honestly, this guy, double the mass of a traditional leader class. Armada Optimus Prime might not be the Optimus Prime for me, but I think he's the Optimus Prime that Unicron Trilogy fans deserve. I think it's the Optimus they always deserved, and I hope you Unicron Trilogy fans supported this and are very happy with it. And I can honestly say he is, without a doubt, an absolute true blue Commander class. Armada Optimus Prime, absolutely one of the best releases of the entire year. And here we are, very tippy, top number 1, and I did review this, even though I don't own this. Number 1 and number 2 were separated by 4 votes. That's it. It could have gone either way for an awful, awful lot of the count. And you know what? Big respect and props to Armada Optimus Prime. You know, almost getting to the top. I said when he was announced, like, the Unicron Trilogy fans, man, gotta support it, and they really are. But not as much as the G1 fans are supporting this guy. That's right, man. It is Studio Series Commander Class Ultra Magnus. Now, in terms of a Commander Class to a Commander Class, I think that the better Commander Class, in terms of value for money, is the Armada Optimus Prime. You're just getting more product. Then we get to Ultra Magnus, which I did review. And I said, though his mass is a little lighter, at I believe somewhere around 530 grams, something like that, I think. I also believe that we have a very high parts count, we have a ton of paint, there's a wide range of articulation. There's not many gripes to really have with them. The transformation is fun and interesting. Granted, I found the knees the first time I did them terrifying, but after doing them the first time, they were easy after that. The tabs that kind of, I guess, solidify the sides of the chest and the sides of the tractor trailer together. Granted, they're known sometimes for causing a little bit of a stress mark, but that, again, very, very minor. This guy can hold cars. We don't have the separate white cab, but you can, in alt mode, remove the cab from the trailer anyway. The cab transformation, very interesting, though I will admit I wish the Ultra Magnus head stored a little bit better. Tons of paint, hefty mass, great articulation. He absolutely captures the look as if Ultra Magnus jumped off the screen. Yes, the scale's a little too big, but you know what? There's so much here to like that I really can't argue with the fans. Studio Series Ultra Magnus. Studio Series 86 Ultra Magnus. He was and is an absolute gem, enough that he was able to take the number 1 slot for Best Transformers Release of 2023. And there you have it, 10 down to 1, and man, what a wild year. It was a lot of contenders that could have been on this list. I don't know if I agree with everything on the list, honestly, but it's the way the fans voted, so it's the way I have to report it. Other ones that had votes include the Takara Rise of the Beast Optimus Primal, the Studio Series 86 Optimus Primal, the mainline Rise of the Beast Optimus Prime, Origins Jazz, Legacy Evolution Prowl, Legacy Evolution Leo Convoy or Leo Prime, the Troop Builder 4-pack, RID Tow Line, who else? Animated Prowl I already said. Star Toys Blitzwing. Robeson Grimlock had a few votes. Javelin. Interesting, not Cascade. Just Javelin. The Nemesis. Toxitron Mirage. What else? Rise of the Beast, Beast Changer, Mirage. Rise of the Beast Scourge. Studio Series Rise of the Beast Scourge, I should say. Legacy Core, or Legacy Evolution Core Class Sound Blaster, Skyquake. Legacy Evolution Skyquake. Or you could say Dreadwing, if you prefer. Transform and roll out TR-02 Commander of Stars. I have no idea what that is, but it got a vote. What else got some votes here that I could throw out? Bombshell, Studio Series Rise of the Beast Bumblebee, New Age Sludge, 86 Sludge, but I thought that was released last year in 2022, to be honest with you. The Powerlinks Hot Shot pack with the little Minicon, Detritus, Crash Bar, MP Skyfire back in February, Legacy Evolution Strong Arm, and let's see. Oh, was it the TFCon Huntsman? He had a vote as well. And I think that might be kind of it throw out here. Oh, the TNT 01B Shatterglass Jetfire. I don't know, it's a third-party Shatterglass Jetfire. Them and more. But here's the kicker. You know the one that I thought was going to at least rank. I thought it was going to be low, but everybody was so smitten and blown away by this guy that I was like, man, he got to rank, right? Didn't get one vote. Shockingly, Beachcomber. Go figure. Let me know if your favorites made the list or the honorable mentions, or if they were noted at all. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, please hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel. And don't forget that somehow, some way, whether you know it or not, each and every single day you do make a difference in the world, and I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or of course the old-fashioned way, the old festive way, right here inside the videos.